Welcome to the Delco Nerd Network. I am your host, Anthony Ragucci. And here, together with a few friends, we sit in a basement in the Delaware County area and we talk about a topic. Today's topic, Rogue One review. So, only my buddy Ian is here because Trio is sick. So, it's just the two of us.
Some tough shoes to fill.
I know.
It's a pretty big deal, you know. But
no, absolutely.
I hope I'm up to the task. And
dude, no one better. If you guys didn't know, we did Force Awakens when we were doing Everything Entertainment, and Ian was you were the only guest we've ever had for that podcast.
Oh, wow.
You were literally the only person, because I was like, how are we going to do a Star Wars podcast on Ian, because he's like the master of Star Wars.
Well, thank you very much.
Alright. So, where do we want to start this?
Well, first, should we preface that this is going to be a detailed...
Yeah, spoilers ahead.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, probably not a good idea to watch it. Come back, go see the movie, maybe once, maybe twice.
Just breaking down everything Star Wars, specifically Rogue One.
Yeah, so I saw it once, and Ian saw it 3 times.
Last night was my 3rd time, and truthfully, I hadn't seen anything different that I hadn't seen the 2nd time.
But from the first and the second time you saw...
First and second time, I immediately saw some background things, you know.
Some things you weren't paying attention to.
I knew I was going to be seeing it a lot, so... Actually, truthfully, the first time I watched, sometimes I was looking in the background more than I was at the main characters, just to see if I could get little Easter eggs and stuff like that. And I was definitely
that's kind of like you were telling me. We saw Assassin's Creed the other night, and like there were apparently Easter eggs like that we didn't even notice.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh, like really? Like if I saw that, I would have lost it. But I didn't notice. There is one thing I noticed, and we'll just start here. Did you like when Bail Organa is exiting? I think the second time he's on screen, he talks to Wedge. He says Captain Antilles, like, as he's walking out really quietly.
When is this?
When he's basically going back to Alderaan. When he tells Mod Mothma, yeah.
See, now at the end, when the captain, it's not Antilles though, gives Leia the plans, you would think that Antilles would be a cool little nod to have seen him.
Yeah.
Who's this guy, you know, coming
But they would have to digitally redo him too.
Well, in episode 3, they have a guy play Antilles at the end, and he tells them to wipe C-3PO's mind of everything that's happened. So they could have used that actor, or, you know, even just cast somebody new, because let's be honest, if he's going to be in it for a
2
minute,
seconds,
are we gonna
not even.
Yeah, not even a minute, you know.
Yeah, but that was one of the Easter eggs, like, I watched a video, and, like, I didn't hear many people talk, but he says it, like, you can hear it really easily, like, if you listen, and he says Captain Antilles, and then, like, it kind of fades out. But, like, that's all you hear is him.
I haven't noticed that. No, that's cool.
Yeah, so, I mean, among other things, I really like the movie. I don't know if it's better than The Force Awakens, because everyone was, like, instantly, oh, it's better than The Force Awakens, so, like, obviously the bar's up here, but it's already up there to begin with.
You know, I saw a video last night on a Star Wars Facebook page that I'm a part of, and it said that, show this to people that dislike the prequels, and it started with Lucas saying that each trilogy is kind of a poetic homage to, like, he's connecting them all to 4, 5, and 6. Mm-hmm. And they just did side-by-side, like, shots of each movie, like episode 1, episode 4. And just similar shots, just in that video. Just, it was really kind of, like, crazy, like, mind-blowing.
Wait,
like,
so episode 1 and episode 4?
Or yeah, well, just all the trilogies have similar scenes to the original trilogy.
Yeah.
And then, so people were always saying episode 7 was too similar to 4. It was, but it was almost reflecting it. That's what Lucas's whole idea was, to have the movies always arc back to 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, and I think Rogue One really does. It's not like taking the plot from episode 4, but like it's paying homage to all that and the whole time.
And it gives you the nerdy little details and action scenes that you've always heard about in the opening crawl, or just they've talked about, but you've never got to see.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, how do you feel about them not doing the opening crawl? I was expecting it, and it was just like, bam, Rogue One.
At first, I was like, this is kind of disappointing. And then...
Yeah, the opening wasn't as epic as it usually was.
And then after a while, I was just like, this isn't a huge chapter. Well, how do I want to word it?
It's not a huge chapter, but it is, because we've known about it for so long. Like, we knew a squad got the Death Star plans. As to the details about that, we don't know. One, because they all die.
So I guess I like the idea of just having the main episode, Star Wars episode, whatever.
Yeah, I think it was a smart move. So let's talk about the music. I hear a lot of people didn't like the music. And honestly, nothing caught my ear.
Well, the first time I saw it, I was like, this is very of a letdown. You know, like
go ahead.
Seeing the opening, when it said Rogue One, when it first popped up, and it almost starts Star Wars-esque, and then like something familiar that you've heard. Everything sounded like a knockoff of John Williams.
That's what I was just gonna say, because like that, like the video games, they're all kind of like knockoffy Star Wars music. They're never like, you know, John Williams, obviously, but. And nothing really caught me here, and I didn't really care that the music wasn't good. I don't know, it didn't, but like, you know, you love the Star Wars music, and music in movies and games, like, if it's good, it's fucking good, like, and it really helps the movie, but like, I didn't really care that much that the music wasn't on point.
Yeah, one of the coolest parts, though, was the actual theme of Rogue One. The theme of Rogue One, actually, after listening to it a while, and seeing it again...
When's that play?
Rogue One pops up, the beginning, like, 10 seconds of it plays and stuff.
Okay,
but when you listen to it more, it's better. And he pays homage to John Williams by, at the end of the movie, when Leia gets it, you know, as soon as the credits come up, it's the Rogue One theme mixed with the Star Wars theme, like, kind of together. There's elements from the Star Wars theme that he took, and he mashed the two songs together, and it's really cool. And people that I've, you know, saw online, they thought, out of all the music in the movie, that was...
Did you watch the credits music?
Not all. I have not stayed till the end.
Towards like the end, like from like middle to like the end of the credits, it's the dun, 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 yeah, like it's the classic like music, but like you never hear any of that in the movie. But you know, it is what it is. It's a whole different. Like,
always
team.
Have to throw the Imperial March in when Vader's present.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Nice
I'll have to listen to that too because it was there slightly, but it wasn't like, you know, as amped up as it is in the original trilogy. The original trilogy. So let's get into the plot. I definitely don't think this movie was like 3 parts, like a movie's supposed to. I feel like it was before Scarif and during and after.
It was
Scarif.
a 2-part, yeah, basically.
It did not feel like there was 3 parts, and I was just like, that's fine, because like the beginning was like the setup,
get the characters together.
Yeah, and then the end was the whole mission of Scarif, which I thought was really cool. That literally like the whole movie. That plan is the central focus.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool because we played it in Battlefront and that mission is pretty relevant. I mean, it's not like canon because like Jyn and Krennic are fighting on the field and that doesn't really make any sense at all to the movie. But I thought that was really cool that Scarif was a planet to literally house like Imperial like documents.
Yeah.
That's the point of it.
And going off of that, just the little homage that Director Edwards throws to like just the different movies and stuff. You know, like you said, Scarif's like main whole focus is just having the archives of Imperial documents and stuff like that. I know when Jin's going through with Captain Andor of the different files that they're having when they're looking for Stardust, that black saber comes up.
Is a Rebels reference.
And that's from,
there's a Clone Wars.
Clone Wars, yeah. And I'm gotta be honest, I haven't seen every Rebels
episode. I gotta watch it. You know, like I really do want to watch it since it is canon. It's like, yeah, I should know this. I feel like I should.
But yeah, the Black Saber was apparently from the Mandalorians. Their attempt at, I mean, I could be very wrong about this. I think I'm right. Is their idea of trying to get a lightsaber type weapon.
Yeah, were there any? I don't think there were any other plans that were.
Nothing that popped out. I've tried to listen to everything she says.
Yeah, I was listening too, and like I heard Black Saber, and I was like thinking about that, but I immediately I wasn't like, oh my god, like it wasn't that big of a deal to me. But
I was gonna say the different planet involvement in each of them. You know, like how we were saying, Scarif is just for that. Edu was kind of a facility base, you know.
That was
Edu where the rain.
No, yeah. So that was a facility to house pretty much like scientists.
Yes, and like for them to like do research on what the kyber crystals could actually do.
So do you think it was really interesting that Death Star was made of kyber crystals?
I think it's really cool because
it makes a lot of sense. It's like a fucking giant lightsaber, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, it's really cool that idea comes together. And
it's like, it all comes full circle.
You would kind of think, like, if something were to hit maybe that crystal or the center and it cracked and opened up, just all that energy in one spot could cause some type of explosion like that,
Yeah.
But I keep wanting to get back to the point that Edwards just kept bringing in references to actually the prequels. Episode 7, we didn't really get too many. They tried to not talk about
they barely touched
like
it.
Almost like it didn't even happen.
Well, like, it was, I guess that was so far in the past that I guess it would have been tough to have been like, I don't know, like, whatever they could have said. It would have been weird.
It is. That's very
what?
true.
Like,
and this taking place between a prequel and an original trilogy, you have to reference what just
it only happened like 10 years ago. If that.
But just seeing things like the clone turbo tank is what Jin is on.
Yeah, you were telling me.
Yeah,
no, actually, my friend told me. He was like, that ship was like, is from the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
I was like, really? I'm like, I had no idea.
And it just shows the Empire's still using their older technology on, like, planets where things don't matter. And that was where Jin and all the Imperial prisoners, it's basically a concentration camp type of place for people that have done things against the Empire.
Yeah, so the Death Troopers are prototypes of Shadow Troopers, right? Or no? Are they just in, like, entirely different things?
I think they're just his personal security, and that's something I want to touch on with Krennic. Krennic, at parts, it just seems that he's so high-ranking to them that he has his own type of technology. When he takes a transport into, when he, on Scarif, he flies to the tower.
In his ship.
He's got a bunch of TIE strikers as his protection. No regular TIE fighters or anything. And this is the first time we've ever seen TIE strikers. So that was kind of like thinking that, like, this guy's getting his own thing.
It would have made sense if he commissioned them for himself.
Yes.
Yeah. That would have made a lot of sense. And then he dies, so.
At one point, a part that I love the scene when he just has this, like, Star Wars has this ability to make the bad guys, when things don't go their way, just like this confusion and absolute rage in their face. And Krennic, when he's looking out, seeing all the different landing pads explode, it's a shock, like, you wouldn't expect that, in your high facility base with a shield.
Yeah.
And so at one point he mentions, get his troops, like his personal troops, onto the battlefield down there. He says, get them to go down. And then he says, you two with me, when he goes to go after Andor and Jin when they're going for the bat.
Yeah.
So, these troops are probably elite. And, his, like,
And we see one ATST, which looked pretty much like an ATST from
it was
the
a
movies.
regular.
I don't think there was
ATST.
anything different about it. And then the walkers, which are
ACTs.
ACTs
Stands for, the CT is cargo transport. So
Instead of
they're not meant for battle.
Yeah,
and
like you could tell because one's hole is entirely
they
missing.
open up, so that cargo can come out, which is a cool idea, and that's why the X-wings are tearing them apart. Like while yes, they have weapons, they're just like they don't have the bottom main cannons that the AT-ATs
Yeah, they're on the side. Just the side ones.
Yeah. So, which is more for like ground type attack and stuff.
Yeah.
So the X-wings are ripping apart. Luke of course mentions that the weapons are too strong for the blasters in episode 5 against the walkers. They can't do anything. But these walkers, they're not even armored. They're not meant for battle. So
yeah, and they're a different color, so that was like an easy giveaway. So there's one quip where a guard talks about T-15s. What is a T-15?
Well, that was a really cool little thing.
I was like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, was that a gun?
Luke mentions when they're going over the Death Star plans that he shot Womprats in his T-16 back home, which would mean, I don't know how like Luke has a brand new, like, car
speeder.
You see a T-16.
They are speeder.
You see a T-16 when Luke is sitting in his hut, like, with Obi-Wan, C-3PO, and R2.
Yeah, it's
he's
the one
using the model, and he's playing with it at one point. and so he mentions that, the Stormtroopers mentioned the T-15s are being decommissioned. And I don't know, for those that have played Rogue Squadron or past games, you could actually fly a T-16. And you could also do races with them. There'd be different missions that would just be a race. And those kind of like pod racing are just kind of a form of entertainment.
Solid game.
Yeah.
What a throwback. So yeah. let's go talk about the characters. Like, I'm like, we're all talking positives, and I want to hit, like, negatives, whenever we get to it. But let's talk about the characters. And I think, for the most part, the characters are pretty shallow, besides Jin and Andor. They're the only people who have any sort of development, and everyone else is kind of like, here's my personality and my little quirk that makes me unique, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, they've made a lot of, books and stuff like that, material leading up to describe things that have happened leading up to Rogue One. I haven't read any of those. I don't know if those touch on guys like Baze or Sharut, but it would be nice to have, I understand you're fit for time, you gotta,
and of course they die at the end, so like getting attached to him would have been dumb. Yeah. And like that's like a positive and negative that I won't like give it to a negative, because like they do die, so like it makes sense. Jin is the only character, we see like she has a reason for being here. Everyone else could have been replaced with someone else. Yeah. Like, and it wouldn't have, like, affected anything probably, but like, she's the most important character.
Some of the characters' deaths were questionable, in my opinion.
What do you mean?
I don't think... I understand... So, Sharut, of course, passes away after the explosion from the control panel.
Yeah.
And, it hits Baze because, like, they've been... What I believe I know is childhood friends. They've been working together, which I'm going to touch on that later. But that's probably the coolest Easter egg in the whole movie. But... So it affects him pretty hard. So he kind of goes on this Rambo-esque type of kill as many stormtroopers as I can before I go out. Which, you couldn't... I feel there was a smarter way. You could live. But maybe he didn't want to live because his friends...
Maybe he knew what he had to...
Or knew that, time was up. They are outnumbered on the whole planet. Yeah. So there's that. And then Bodhi Rook, when he's doing the call sign and he talks to... Slip in my mind, the Mon Calamari and
It's slipping I don't think did they ever say his name?
Yeah, they say it a few times.
Okay, because like I was like Admiral Akbar too.
basically. Yeah. And he the smile on his face, because he's been part of the Empire for a while, and he doesn't want to be a part of it. And through the whole movie, we see him just question if this was the right move to join this rebellion. I mean, the second he's with them, he's got guys from Saw Gerrera's group just kidnapping him, putting a bag over your head. You're like, they're treating me like a prisoner, like I'm actually still with the Empire.
And then he's defecting.
Yeah. But so just the smile on his face when he actually hears that the Rebel fleet has come, like this is a big deal, and like he's a part of this now. And then he turns, and I just wouldn't understand why a stormtrooper would throw a grenade into an Imperial ship, and he's wearing an Imperial uniform, and he's the only one in the ship.
That's a really solid point. I never thought about that.
Why even?
Maybe because they knew the rebels were in there, and that he didn't know exactly who was in there, but whoever was in there had to be a rebel. So like
that's very well possible. I thought about it.
It's a good point.
They knew the transmission was coming through there, which it was. I mean, you got a wire now,
sticking out of the ship.
So that could definitely be it. But no, you go ahead.
I think K2 is definitely my favorite character.
Oh, K2 was very cool.
K2 was like the shit.
Yeah.
I was like, this is awesome. Like, he didn't need depth. He's a fucking droid. Like, R2 and C-3PO don't have any depth. They just say quippy things. But I think K2 is my favorite compared to BB-8 and, like, the other two.
So, my friend last night, after seeing it for the third time, we were like, you could say this really for a lot of the new troops and vehicles and things that we see in this movie, but we see a lot of those Imperial droids, like the analyzing droids, like K2 in the movie. And you wonder,
where the hell
are they on the Death Star?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, maybe they just like decommission them. I don't know.
Our scenes that we see on the Death Star, you never do see one though. I will point that out.
So where's that? You do see one.
Scarif, tons of Scarif.
Where do you see the one? Will you pass? He passes it. Where
you see them on Jeddah.
It's on Jeddah.
There's Jeddah in the beginning. Yeah, you pass one.
Yeah.
And then there's the ones on Scarif. And then I'm not sure if there was any scene on Edu possibly, but I don't think there was. But yeah, there's technology and like characters like K2 that you're like, why are we not seeing more? But you know why. Yeah. Physically why, like because it just comes different timeline. But
But
yeah, K2 was a cool character.
Captain, first one to go.
Yeah. Captain Andor really surprised me in the beginning of just killing that spy. It was like, whoa, just like, it was almost like the mob or something, you know?
Yeah.
And, but then he kind of describes, like, he doesn't go into detail, but says he's done awful things. And he's always told himself it's for the rebellion. At the end of the day, this was a good thing. This had to happen.
Yeah, I get it. And it doesn't surprise me. Like, Resistance is that and other things, they're all cobbled together, like, outlaws and misfits and that type of thing, and that doesn't surprise me that happened, but I thought it was cool they kind of went into it. And same with like the Empire, they go into the Empire a little bit more and like kind of the people, because like we see Tarkin and like he's like uppity up, like even Krennic feels more personal than Tarkin,
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it could also have to go with the fact that, and I personally had no problem with this. I know there's kind of, maybe not problems, but talk of the CGI work to bring back Tarkin.
Why? I'm like, I don't understand why people were shitting on it. I thought it looked really good. And I told my dad, I was like, that's CGI. Like, that's not actually.
Yeah, he died in 94.
Obviously, Leia is too. And I thought that was really good for the quick second it was there. And I was like, I was really surprised that they showed her face. I didn't expect it.
Leia, leaders of Red and Gold Squadron, also lead the attack on the Death Star.
Yeah.
And they're also in Battle Scarif.
So, but those scenes are taken from footage they didn't use from the original.
They said
it have to be because it's very obvious. Yes. Yeah, and I thought that was really cool.
I mean, even the fact that they have a where you go in Red 5, so that they could show Red 5 dying, which is kind of an Easter egg that opens up a spot for Luke.
Yeah, you made that point to me. I'm like, that makes a lot of fucking sense.
They actually went into a little bit. They took time of the film to show Red 5.
And I'm pretty sure I'm right. Doesn't a pilot die exactly like Porkins dies? And he screams at him, and he's like, or like whoever I think it was like Red. I forget if he says his name or he says his call sign. And then like the explosion from the back, and he kind of covers his head.
I mean, Red 5 was kind of a chunky dude. He kind of.
Oh, was that Red 5?
Yeah.
That was Red 5. All right, that was my favorite part of the movie, the X-wing part, because you got the white guys with the '70s mustaches. And then the B-roll from the other
Edwards
films
doing that with just going back. Paying homage. They all have mustaches.
Yeah, it's so funny. And I saw an article, I think it was by Kotaku, about that female X-wing pilot that apparently, like, what is the deal with that? Isn't that, like, I don't know. They were saying something like they're like, I don't know. That there was originally, like, a female X-wing pilot supposed to be in the original movies, and she was cut out, and that was her. Something like that.
That'd be cool. I don't know that yet.
I don't
know.
Be cool. But, like, I saw an article, and it was before I saw the movie, so I didn't even look at it.
One thing that, I mean, this could be, but she was wearing a blue suit, and all of the rebels are wearing red suits in episode 4, so I don't know if they're just using audio, or...
Were there people with blue suits walking around Yavin? I could have sworn I saw one.
Quite possibly. I know that and again, name slipping me, of the captain with the mustache. He's actually a general. Pilot? Yeah, he's actually a general. But he's wearing a blue suit, and everyone in his squadron's wearing a blue suit.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means a blue squadron or something like that, but there's that. But one thing I did want to touch on was just I thought it was cool that they're doing guerrilla hit and run tactics. They call in the X-wing strike and Y-wings, to attack Edu, the facility on Edu, and they don't hear from Captain Andor, so they're like, I don't care. Like, this guy has to die before we even.
Yeah, they just don't even care. Yeah,
and we'll kill anyone again. Kill anyone. At the end of the day, this is for a greater good, and even if our troops are on there. So that was really cool, sending in the X-wing attack there.
Let's go back to characters. The only one we didn't hit was pretty much Jen. I thought Jim was really cool for the most part. No, I didn't love her. Again, K2 was my favorite character in the movie, and I think I liked Krennic a lot, and I liked the fact that, just real quick on Krennic, that he was in white, and all the other like officers and higher ranks are in gray, so they made him look different.
I did read about that, and just like it was.
Was that because he was like a director?
I assume. Again, here's the thing of Krennic being able kind of to do what he wants and have what he wants, like have his TIE strikers, have his Death Troopers. wear what he wants. You know, like
Yeah.
no one wears a cape.
Yeah, no one
Vader
wears
wears a cape, and the Emperor has a cloak. He doesn't even have a cape. You know, so that's just his personal choice. But yeah, I don't really know.
Yeah, I didn't think there was probably a reason for it. I think it was so he could stand out more compared to the other ones.
The only other person that does wear white is Admiral Wolf Yarn.
Wasn't Tarkin wear white? Or not Tarkin, Thrawn?
Yeah, he does which they've made canon again through Rebels. But yeah, he does. And then Admiral Wolf Yarn, who's also in Clone Wars and is sitting at the table at the Death Star in Episode 4 as one of the advisors. I think he even has a line possibly. Yeah. But he's wearing white in Episode 4. So I don't know what the significance of white means, but yeah, there's definitely some Imperial officers that do.
And going back to Jen, I like Jen. Mads Mikkelsen was good as it's Galen.
Yeah, Galen.
Galen or so. I thought that was really pretty good. Are they on Tatooine in the beginning?
No,
not Tatooine. Aren't they on a significant planet or no?
No, it's a brand new planet.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. I'm getting confused.
It is cool. Well, first off, I'd like to see Jin. Maybe even I'd like to catch up on Rebels. Up here in Rebels,
we didn't talk about Saw Gerrera, but he's in the Clone Wars, and now he's going to be on Rebels. That just announced yesterday. I'm like, that's cool, and Forrest Whitaker's going to play him.
Oh, that's even.
I was like, that's awesome. I was like, I think Saw Gerrera was weird character.
He was.
I think like Forrest Whitaker really overperformed him, and I was just like, "What the hell is going on?"
Well, I think he's insane.
No, I think he is too.
I don't think he's
Clearly
all there
he's crazy.
At this point.
Yeah.
I mean, he's lost parts of his body. I mean, he's almost in like an futuristic iron lung.
He doesn't have legs.
Yeah.
And they don't show his legs a bunch, but like when he first walks up,
metal.
Yeah.
So he's gone insane, and so I'm just. I get what you're saying. He at times
it seemed weird. It wasn't there enough for you to like justify that insanity, even though it was. But it just didn't. It felt like too much.
He does that like, did you come to kill me? Kind of that part when he asked Jin if she's kind of working for the Empire, and he's like, "There's not much of me left." Like that was kind of.
There's not much of me left. Weird way.
Yeah, but I'd like to see what's happened to Jin or read about Jin before episode.
Like the timeline when she was with him.
She got left when she was 16 by him to break off in the rebellion. So
yeah. I want to talk about Vader, but I think I was gonna going back to the Saw Gerrera parts on Jedha. I thought that alien was really weird.
The mind reading.
Yeah, that was really strange. I was like, I don't think we needed that, but it is what it is. Like, if that was like, it's not like a negative of the film, I think, but it's just like it was.
It was odd.
It sounded like some Jabba shit right there.
It was kind of and it was kind of and. Again, though, it kind of builds off of he was kind of insane. Like he almost had a smirk on his face when that thing was touching him. Like he gets excited when people are feared or like about to die or something. You know, especially if he thinks they're Imperial. You know.
Yeah.
And what's caused him to go insane? Who knows? I mean, maybe.
He's a soldier.
Yeah.
You can justify that. Let's talk about Vader. I heard a lot of people talking about Vader was in the movie too much. I don't agree.
No.
I don't agree.
Perfect. I was just about to say.
I was like,
in the movie, talks. The perfect amount of time.
He talks in his first scene, doesn't do anything. And he's in the Bacta tank, which is cool.
Personally, for me, besides the space battle in Scarif, Vader was also probably the best part of the movie.
The end scene is...
What I've wanted to see...
Vader. You fear him.
For the first
I'm
time...
just like,
maybe not the first time, but the first time you're really like... If I was trapped in that room...
I would be shitting my pants.
It would be... Yeah. It's terrible. And just that feeling, and you're like... You've always heard... we've always... even people are always afraid of Jabba. Why are they afraid of Jabba? I don't know. I guess because he has power and has people controlling. How a blob has power, I don't know. But... Just you always hear he has power and people fear Jabba. You don't want to be on Jabba's bad side. We've always heard you don't want to be on Vader's bad side at all. And just to actually see him go off, and actually show that he is for the Emperor. He will kill people. I mean, he's obviously killed younglings in episode 3. Younglings.
He killed younglings.
But yeah, we've read and seen him do things and like games and stuff.
I thought the fact that his palace was on Mustafar was really cool,
was
and
just
they
about to
didn't
touch
say
on
it.
that.
And I thought that was really dumb. They should have just said like
It's the only planet
Emperor's Palace
that the
or whatever.
location is not shown.
Yeah,
in the movie.
I thought that was weird. I'm like, we know Mustafar. I'm like, they should have said it.
That's a secret. Well,
secret, or that's like you should know.
my favorite. I want to touch on it at the very end when we do all Easter eggs. If we are going, would you like?
I mean, you throw them in when you feel appropriate.
But there's definitely Ralph McQuarrie, who's done the drawings, if you don't know, for Star Wars, like the concept from the very beginning.
Yeah.
I have that episode 4, concept drawing poster in my room. Him and Lucas always they had this idea of Vader living in a castle or having scenes of Vader in a castle. They even have drawings for episode 4 of Vader in a castle. We always knew that the reason why Vader was in this thing was because he burned. That was original from the get-go. Was that he was going to battle Obi-Wan on some type of fire or lava planet, a final good versus evil.
So, like in the original trilogy, was it said that he was burned and he didn't have any of his limbs?
They don't mention that he was burned,
or
that
lost
they
his
said
limbs?
that he's changed, and Obi-Wan says he's more machine than man now.
Okay,
So they kind of allude to it, I guess, a little bit. But
he is missing all 4 of his
But
limbs.
they've always wanted to have Vader in a castle, and it was finally cool that years later, the concept art of a castle on a lava planet was actually finally getting.
And you
used.
see the what are the Red Guards called?
Imperial guards. Yeah,
Yeah, the Emperor's guards. Yeah,
guarding Vader when he's at his most vulnerable. He's in this tube that
can't
he
do
needs
shit.
to stay alive. I've read that he needs to do that every so often. Is get into a Bacta tank. And use that, to regenerate, like, cells is what a Bacta tank basically. We see Luke in a Bacta tank in episode 5 after the Wampa attack and he was out in the snow. But he needs that, and I thought it was really cool just being able to, like, bring the water down. You start to see, like, what
I thought they were
going to
show
without
him.
Vader, without it, and see what he looks like. That was really cool. And one little, I don't know if you could call it an Easter egg, but the man that comes in the cloak to talk to Vader.
I thought that was going to be the Emperor. Yeah, I think everyone did.
At first, I was like, is the Emperor going to be in this movie as well?
Yeah.
But that man's in episode 6.
Really?
He's part of the Emperor's advisors when on the Death Star.
Is it the same dude?
I don't know. Probably not. Because
Yeah,
the
I was
actor's
like, that guy
old.
was pretty old. Yeah.
But he's wearing the same cloaks and has the same look.
I gotta rewatch all the movies. Like I haven't seen any of them in a fucking long time, and like you've seen them, you watch them like every day. So like I'm so like I remember parts, and I'm just some parts is like. But anyway.
But yeah, I didn't realize that until like my 3rd time seeing it. I said that that guy has significance. He's not just some dude working there in a cloak,
Yeah.
That was cool. But and then Vader, almost the little like comedy, in the old movies he would have like little quips like, scared, like you don't want to laugh because you're scared, but at the same time he's as foolish as he is stupid. Or when he talks about the captain coming out of Lightspeed in episode 5 before the Battle of Hoth, or just choking people, and he chokes the one Imperial officer on the Star Destroyer and kills him, like breaks his neck with the Force.
Yeah.
And as he hits the ground, he says, "Apology accepted, Captain Nita," and just like that type of like, laugh,
Yeah.
And so when he chokes Krennic and tells him to not choke on his aspirations, and then lets go, Krennic almost has a smirk on his face, like he liked that a little bit. Not like
really,
yeah. He has this like that. He's not angry. But he's also not, he has almost like I think it could be more that he's happy he's still in charge, and Vader has given him faith to still be in charge of this Death Star project, but he does,
And you can tell from the beginning that Vader's all iffy about it all.
Yeah. And I mean, which is awesome because, again, calls homage to episode 4. He says that this space station is nothing compared. Yeah, this space station is nothing compared to that of the Force.
Yeah,
that the Force can. I mean, I know the Force Unleashed isn't canon, but we see. Kind
of wish it was.
But. Yeah, but just bringing that Star Destroyer down, the Force. What I believe the Emperor believed that Anakin could actually do before he actually became War Machine was that he would be the ultimate Force user, that he'd be the most powerful Force user and could do things. I mean, this is extremely hypothetical, but like control like a Death Star type beam. You know, I mean, just
Well, like,
that
move
much.
it. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
like that much power, like insane amounts. So just like Vader knows, he knows what the Force could actually.
It's kind of
be.
interesting that the Emperor even like keeps him around because like he is so like
Weakened.
yeah, his force is like shit compared to what it could be.
Something I've always liked to know is if that was his plan from the beginning or plan after Episode 1. Like, did he know of Anakin before they brought him to Coruscant?
I kind of would think he. Wait, who does the order for that?
What do you mean?
Who send? You know, it's been a while. Who sends them to find Anakin?
Well, no one sends him. They find him on Tatooine in Episode 1. Qui-Gon
Oh
meets
yeah,
him.
why do they go there though?
Because their hyperdrive is leaking,
That's it.
and they need a new hyperdrive, and the closest planet is Tatooine.
Yeah,
And they find him,
Yeah.
and and they bring him back because Qui-Gon realizes that he has
Midichlorians.
chlorians, and they're higher than Yoda's apparently. So again, which also shows that
Yeah,
the
okay.
potential for this kid is big. But yeah, we're getting a little bit off track.
Yeah.
We'll go back to Rogue One. But yeah, did you want to touch on Easter eggs or?
Sure, let's shoot some out because like
I'm gonna try and go off in
we'll
order.
end it with like a summary of, and maybe we'll talk about the eggs in a little bit, but go with the Easter eggs that we haven't hit.
I'm gonna try and think from the very beginning. Of course, blue milk in the room at Jin's house. You know, gotta have blue milk. That was a really cool little nod. I'm trying to think. Of course, Saw Gerrera's. I mean, it's not even really an Easter egg. We already touched on it. He's from the Clone Wars. Previous character.
Rebels, yeah.
They made him in Clone Wars before Rogue One was even in development. So the fact that they did their research and went to other, medias to get characters and
Is
study
really cool.
things, that was really cool. Yeah, and it shows that they take that seriously.
They should too.
Yeah,
they should
because it's canon.
Yeah, it's kind of like Assassin's Creed doing Alan Riken, who's only really off topic. He's only in the first game, and you only see the back of his head.
Really?
When you're finished the game and like Warren Vidic, like the suits come in, Alan Riken is, you see the back of his head and that's it, and you only hear about him. So like the fact that they did a major character like that in that movie was really cool.
Yeah.
But anyway,
other little ones were Jeddah had a lot. Jeddah had a lot of
Jedi.
Easter
There's
eggs.
Jedi temple.
Well,
planet,
that's
obviously.
where, and they used to send Jedi there to make their lightsabers.
Yeah, and
Create
that's why
the
they were
first
mining
one.
kyber crystals.
On the
there.
kyber crystals,
I think that's pretty obvious, but yeah, an Easter egg nonetheless.
At one point before they even they used the Death Star on it, they mentioned that it's been either bombarded by Star Destroyers or something because those towers are down. They've tried to wipe the existence and thought of Jedi out of, they don't want people even knowing. They don't want newborns even they're just gonna have to hear stories.
And Rey is kind of like a good example of that.
Yeah.
She only hears stories, and it's like
Jedi.
it's like an old wives' tale.
Yeah. So yeah, the Jedi, statues and everything. The other thing I wanted to mention was, you see, of course, Pig Nose, and they bumped into the guy at the bar.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
So that means they were there a few days before they were to the bar for a few drinks.
Yeah.
But another cool thing was, we see guys in red suits on Jeddah. Are we good here with audio?
Yeah. I think I think it's kind of like cracking out, but I think it's all right. Just keep going.
All right.
Sometimes this happens, but
we see guys in red robes with a black bar across their face. They look very, very similar to the Imperial Guards, which makes me wonder if the Imperial Guards are based off of some type of species or race of people, or the design of their uniforms is based off that, because everyone was saying it. They look like a Halloween costume of the Imperial. So as I was saying, you see these guys dressed in red robes with a black bar across their face. They look like the Imperial Guards. They don't really go into detail if that's where those guards are originating from, or the idea for them is, but that was really cool. And then, because I want to touch on the Easter eggs in order as we see them, probably the coolest Easter egg maybe in all of Star Wars happened in this movie.
This is why.
Jin asked Captain Andor who they were, who the people that asked, how, Sharut says that he sees, he doesn't see, but he knows that she has a kyber crystal around her neck.
Yeah, which was very obvious from the beginning. It's like totally kyber crystal.
So she asked Captain Andor, who were those people? And he says that they're defenders of the Wills, or members of the Wills, defenders of the kyber crystals.
Isn't the original name of this?
The Will, yes, the original Star Wars it was Star Wars. The Adventures of Starkiller, as told from the Book of Wills.
Yeah.
And the Book of Wills was basically, Lucas's idea was that Star Wars was being told by an ancient, like Star Wars had happened forever ago, and they were being told in a book, Bible-esque almost, of what was happening. So just the fact that they've made the Wills canon, we don't know much about that, but they are people that maybe are documenting history, these type of people,
Yeah, it would make sense, because, like, the Force is such, like, an unknown thing that, like, what's behind that? Maybe the Wills? Yeah, I heard about that.
It's religious-esque almost, to, like...
And they mention it in Episode 4. Yeah, he's like, you're a fanatical religion, and it's like... Yeah. I wouldn't even consider it a religion at a point. It just doesn't feel like it, but it does.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. But anyway.
More of a cult than anything.
Yeah, you're right.
And I've always thought, not too off topic, but if you weren't a Jedi or you couldn't use the Force, you'd kind of be looking at these people like...
They're a bunch of killers.
They're doing some weird things, and yeah.
All they do is fight, yeah.
Yeah. But so there was that Easter egg. I'm trying to... I hope I don't miss any.
I don't think you miss any I can think of.
I know I'm going to think of one, of course, after I'm done.
No, yeah, it's going to happen.
But Rebels Easter eggs, tons.
Chopper,
yeah. Which I hadn't noticed, ever. All 3 times. And after last night I said, is there anything I've been missing that I haven't seen? And apparently Chopper is on Yavin.
Yeah,
when he rolls by. I didn't see that.
He rolls by as Mon Mothma. Another one from Yavin 4. There's a character in Game of Thrones in that room, and they put a spot. The guy plays Barristan Selmy.
Yeah.
He plays a character that's on the council, but he's a character from Star Wars. I don't remember his name. But he is a council member that's in the original trilogy.
Oh, really?
He does play a person. But yeah, that's kind of cool. A cool Game of Thrones. Star Wars Easter egg.
We see the Ghost multiple times. The Ghost is the ship, if you don't follow Rebels.
Yeah.
It's the ship that they use in Rebels. And we see it in the Battle of Scarif come out of Lightspeed. At one point, you see it chasing TIE fighters.
Yeah.
And then we see it docked on Yavin 4 when they take off to go to Scarif.
Yeah, it's in the back.
It's on the left. Yeah, back left in the loading dock. So that's really cool that they added that in.
Another Easter egg. It's not really a super Easter egg. Do you know do you know Steve Blum is?
I do not know.
He does a lot of voice acting for video games, and he voices one of the clone troopers. And his voice is super distinct that I know it just by hearing it really quick. It's kind of like Troy Baker at this point. But he does super small parts for every game. He's just random voices, and sometimes he plays big characters, but he voices a few stormtroopers. So anyone who knows who Steve Blum is, you probably heard that voice and are like, oh fuck, it's Steve Blum. Yeah. But anyway.
At one point when Jyn is walking back after she's basically told, no, we're not going to send people to Scarif, we hear a call over the mic for General Syndulla. And Syndulla is the Twi'lek from Rebels.
Yeah.
So clearly she's most likely, unless Syndulla is the Smith or Jones of the last
or
name.
It's her dad or somebody related to her.
Yeah. Then it looks like she's lived and probably the one flying the Ghost in those battles. So
yeah,
that was cool. Trying to think of other little Easter eggs. Of course, we touched on Black Saber.
That's pretty much
just again how Edwards just studied Episode 4. The same buttons and things and words are said when they start the Death Star up. Every time they fire the beam, it's the same buttons are hit.
The same shots too, right? Pretty much.
They reenact the same shots. We see I believe it's the producer of Episode 7 and I forget who the other man is, but they're the Imperial troops on the railing. Well, with no railing, of course. His Family Guy makes fun of when the beam fires by. They're the guys that are shielding their eyes from that bright light.
Another Easter egg when they go to Edu and they go to the scientist. One of the scientists, forget his name, but he plays a character in The Walking Dead. and he's kind of fat, and he plays like a bunch of other. Again, he's like a character or an actor that's in like everything and plays like very minor characters. But people would know him from Walking Dead. He was in season 6, and he played a character named Eastman who was only in 1 episode. So I know you never even got that far. But for people who watch Walking Dead, he was in there. But like it was so dark that you couldn't like see his face, but like it was totally him. I could tell by the body shape. I think. Is that all the Easter eggs that I can think of? And
I know I'm missing.
Yeah, there's got to be one. Yeah,
which is aggravating. But the ending is when they announced Rogue One. The ending is what I wanted to see. I said we better see the Tantive leaving or being chased by Star
the
Destroyer.
Hammerhead Corvette.
Oh yes,
that was super deep cut.
Now apparently, again, I need to watch Rebels. They brought it up in Rebels first. Leia gets 3 of them. Apparently, steals 3 for the rebellion. But those ships are based off of Knights of the Old Republic game.
I know, yeah.
And you're even on one at the very beginning.
Yeah, it's so weird. I was just like, what?
But that would almost be like a wooden boat compared to a yacht at this point with the technology and stuff. But that was very cool that, it was a great idea.
I thought it was really cool. The 2 years, push it in.
That actually did bring up 2 different little Easter eggs. I don't know if it could be considered an Easter egg. It could be just fun fan speculation. But in episode 4, when they're at the table discussing about the Death Star, there's a missing seat. The whole table is filled, but there's one seat that is missing at that table. And you could kind of speculate that possibly that could have been Krennic's seat.
My god, dude, that's nutty!
There's only one seat at the
really
whole
cool
table that's not there.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I don't remember the Admiral's name. There's so many chokeable Imperial Admirals out there.
And they all kind of look the same.
And all English, because they're bad guys.
Because they're bad guys,
But there's one that he says, that this battle station is the ultimate power of the universe and stuff like that, but that we need to crush the rebellion. The rebellion's going to be a problem. And the other admiral says, maybe for your Starfleet commander, but not this battle station. And at one point they mentioned basically that his Starfleet is the one that's above Scarif.
Yeah.
He just had a problem. He just lost Star Destroyers. This guy's on thin ice at this point.
And one thing we didn't say was the Star Destroyers are white in this, not gray.
Yeah, they literally got to go to the archives, like we said, use the old footage. They, just like Star Wars Battlefront did, they scanned the models and then CGI rendered the models into the movie. Which I think is so cool. I mean, every single time I see a Star Destroyer, there's just so much you can't comprehend all of it because it's just the little details that in a part of the model that the people that made the model did. It was really cool to see. Yeah, it was kind of whitish more than gray or.
Yeah, it was definitely easy white. It's kind of it. I think, but conclusions, okay, the movie was really good. If I had to say any negatives, the plot. The characters don't go in depth, but that's kind of like they have to do that. And one thing that I didn't think made any sense was the fact that Jyn is so, not with the rebellion, and the next second, oh, rebellion, yay! I'm like, what? I'm like, you just were not with them, like an hour ago. How did you switch that quick?
I mean, possibly the fact of her father dying. Her father basically saying that he's been for the rebellion this whole time. He's made a flaw in the Death Star. He knew that.
We didn't even fucking talk about that.
He knew that if they killed him then and there in the beginning of the movie, they'd just find somebody else.
And the way they explained that flaw of the Death Star makes total sense now. Because that was one plot. It's why the fuck would there be a port in the Death Star that you could shoot into and the whole thing explodes?
The Empire doesn't know about that port.
Yeah, because he hit it so well.
The X-Wings are going through the trench.
Yeah.
He comes up to Tarkin and says, we've analyzed their attack and there is a weakness. So at that point they freak out. Maybe a bit unwise that Tarkin is not treating this as big of a deal. In fact, the whole Empire, I mean, they sent a dozen, 2 dozen TIE fighters when in the Battle of Scarif they're sending
the whole fucking fleet.
So many TIE fighters. Yeah. So, and that there was our little, if I'm really getting super nerdy, which this whole thing really is about.
Of course.
They mentioned in the Battle of the Death Star that they can't hit the X-Wings because they're so small, they're avoiding our turbo lasers.
Yeah.
turbo lasers in Rogue One take out at least four X-Wings, we say. It's not that they can't hit them, I guess, but the fact that they're hitting them. I mean, above Scarif, when they're hitting the shields, that took them out. On Edu, when they called in the X-Wing strike, that one turret was taking out different X-Wings. So you're like, I don't know.
It's kind of like,
why wasn't the Death Star hitting them? Kind of a thing.
So like,
nitpick, but yeah.
Yeah. So like, what do you think? Like, what did you not like about the movie? Because like I kind of said my piece, but like that's kind of it. I just feel like the movie is weak in some areas.
The first time I saw it and I came back, I told my roommate that the one part that I didn't like about the movie was, and looking back, I don't think this is as big of a deal, but just again we touched on it, character development.
Yeah, it was weird because
and
we knew they were gonna die.
I almost never cared when they died.
Exactly, except for K2, and I was like, no. Yeah. Everyone else was just like, just died, and I was like, okay,
yeah,
okay. That's supposed to happen. I knew that.
Yeah, Yeah, again, that's why I said looking back, it's not as big as a deal after the first time I saw it. But yeah, that was really one of the only flaws I had. I mean, it was a very solid movie.
I don't think it was better than Force Awakens. Maybe I need a little time on it. I don't want to say that. And I see where people are coming from. It's a very different type of Star Wars movie.
I liked how it was serious. People compared it to Episode 5. And, at times Episode 7 was not serious. In fact, there was, in my opinion, for Episode 7, too much comedy in Episode 7.
I agree. I think that's a really valid
comedy
point.
Is fine. There's always some type of comedy in Star Wars, unfortunately.
Same with, like, Marvel movies to really do it, too.
Yeah, sometimes you wish it wasn't. Yeah, I remember, Casey Wellman, who was on here for the Game of the Year episode. He mentioned that when we were talking about the movie, that sometimes comedy was drawing him out of the movie, like, of Rogue One. He was into it, and then, like, someone would say something, you're just like, yeah, I had to say that now or something, which I'd agreed with. It was almost like we didn't need comic relief at that time.
I think it's a good point. Up. Yeah, it's a good point.
So, yeah, character development and, I guess, use of comedy, I think.
Yeah, so, I mean, definitely go see it. You have a ton of time. It's not going to be, like, out of theaters for at least another month or two.
Could be Episode 7. Like,
I'm looking forward to Episode 8. I'm not really looking forward to the Han Solo movie.
Really?
Just because, like, I don't really care. I think Donald Glover's Lando Calrissian is fucking sick. But, like, beyond that, I'm like, what could they tell with Han? And you were saying, like, well, the Millennium Falcon and the parsecs and shit, like shit.
Well, yeah, just getting the Falcon. I mean, I would assume in the beginning of this film, when we see him, he is not flying the Falcon.
Oh, I assume he's not.
It would be also very cool if he meets Chewie in the movie.
Which he probably
I would hope that he's not boys with Chewie from the beginning. That would be cool if they became friends. And
I'd rather see a movie about, like, Django.
Well, I mean, hey.
Or Boba.
Disney's got it, man. They
I know.
They might have to scrape the bottom of the barrel in like 20 years for story ideas,
I mean, or they just like totally disconnect from all the original stuff and like kind of go the route of the games. Possibly. Which all the games do. I will say most of them like do their Old Republic is totally like fucking their own shit. And like same with maybe you could say The Force Unleashed because that's totally like new shit. That would have been cool if it was canon. But anyway, Rogue One, definitely go see it. Ian, anything you want to say like before we finish that maybe is coming to mind right now, but probably
no, not really. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, dude, absolutely.
Chris Trio feeling well.
Yeah,
starts feeling well. It was tough. Yeah, I wanted him to be here.
I know. So we rescheduled this once. Yeah, we were supposed to do it yesterday, but he was sick and he's been super sick, and I kind of wanted to get this done before Christmas. We're filming this the 22nd. We gotta do what we gotta do. Yeah. But
and I would hope that he thought we did a good job.
Yeah, I hope he watches this and goes, I don't think I could have done anything better. Alright, guys. Thank you for watching the Delco Nerd Network. You can find us at our Facebook page at facebook.com/Delco Nerd Network and our Twitter at the DNN Podcast, as well as YouTube at youtube.com/Ragucci25. Like, follow, and subscribe for more content just like this. This is the last episode of 2016, so we'll do our January episode. It's only going to be me and Trio, and it's going to be about the DC TV stuff. We're going to cover Flash, Supergirl, Arrow, your favorite stuff. Ian hates that stuff.
More or less.
But that's what we're going to be doing, and we don't really have any plans for February yet. We'll obviously do a podcast, we just don't know. But again, thank you guys for watching. Stay nerdy.